Recording is initiated. And again, I'm just going to put everybody on mute for right now to cut back on any background noise. So let me do that. All right. We are in business. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on a Monday. Looks like we've got 46 in attendance and counting, which is wonderful. We appreciate you all being here. We're going to go through a little bit of tips and tricks for Microsoft Teams because it can be very finicky at times. The structure of the call, what we're going to do is go about 45 minutes of content and then allow for a solid 15, 20 minutes of Q&A. We'll have a couple of spots within the call for some Q&A. We have a guest speaker, so we'll open up the lines after that individual speaks. You can add questions at any time into the chat box, and our moderators, if they can answer it with a yes or no, they'll put that into the chat, but we'll make sure that we address all of the questions that arise. When in doubt, as underscored by my audio issues at the beginning, if you have any trouble with Teams, you can usually log out and log back in. That worked for me. That usually will settle things down and get things operating fully. If you don't have Teams downloaded on your tablet, your computer, your device, you may not have all of the functionality of the chat box, the dialog box. So if you don't see that, we'll show you that on the next screen, the example of that. If you don't have that, that's okay. You can still participate at home on a notepad, things of that nature. We also encourage you to have volunteer connection open. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge on your computer, on your phone. There may be some opportunities to go in and explore a little bit of volunteer connection. Like I said, we'll record the meeting. We'll share the document afterwards. Your rep will send that out to you. And we'll also share that for individuals who are not on the call and could not attend tonight. If you have other technical issues with Teams, you can also call in. There's a call-in number. So if you're really getting frustrated with Teams, it just doesn't seem to want to work, it's being cranky, it's giving you a problem, there is a call-in number that we can put in the chat as well. So don't get frustrated. It's not you. Sometimes there's just issues with Microsoft Teams. I don't think we'll have any issues with being on camera. I see a couple of smiling faces. I'm totally cool with that. So that is just fine. If you see, as you're typing into the chat and it says guest, that is totally fine. You will have your name in there if you have a Red Cross email. Red Cross emails, you only need that if you're an administrative volunteer, a scheduler, an engagement lead, an onboarding volunteer. So if it says guest, that's okay. You're supposed to be on this call. Don't worry about that. This is what Teams looks like on the typical laptop computer. I say typical. Macs, I believe, look a little bit different. So it may have these functionalities on there, but I believe they might be on the bottom. Some of these things such as the microphone, the chat box. And again, if you don't have it fully downloaded, you're not going to have access to the little chat box here, which opens this dialog box. We'll also have opportunities where you might be able to raise your hand here. There's fun little reactions as well that you can do. There's also this area down here. Again, might look a little different, computer to computer, different laptops and things of that nature. There's another area down here. When we have the Q&A session, you can come off of mute here. I feel like I'm a coach with the chalkboard here. So this is kind of what it looks like. But for the most part, we're usually using this little chat feature here or the chat feature that is down here. So explore, don't get frustrated, have fun with it. And that's a little bit of a tutorial there. This is us. This is our team. and an opportunity for folks to come on camera and give a wave. So this is your New York Penn team. We affectionately call ourselves the Dream Team. And this is us a year ago out in Penn, I believe a little south of Rochester. It's more of Sylvia's domain than ours. So this is our team. So we have Sylvia out of Rochester, who is fantastic, and has the lion's share of Rochester, kind of greater Rochester area. That's me. I'm Casey Garvey. I am in Albany, and I kind of have a big slice of Eastern New York all the way up to the Canadian border, down to New York City. We have Ellen, who is our fearless leader, and she is out of the Rochester area as well. Chris Alexich, she is our divisional manager, keeps us all in line, and she is out of Syracuse. So we have a very strong Rochester, Syracuse group here. And then we have Erin Wilson, who is on the team and covers a large chunk of Syracuse, Onondaga County, and some of the North Country as well. We have Carrie Brooks, the West, on the other side of the state, out in Buffalo, and supports donor ambassadors out there, and one county in Pennsylvania. We are called New York Penn, but we only have one county. Carrie also covers a bit of the southern tier Binghamton area as well. So we are your team. Hopefully you know who your rep is. If you don't, go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll link you up. You might be a new volunteer, kind of getting your footing. So let us know and we can make sure that you are in contact with that person. And this is the territory map. It's a little small. What we wanted to point out here is, although we have clearly defined territories, I put that in quotations, we share a lot of volunteers. You are not confined. If you're on my team, that doesn't mean you can't do Onondaga County or St. Lawrence County, Sullivan County, or things of that nature. This is just basically the areas that we support. We are in service of the volunteers. Each of us have, gosh, like 170 to about 250 volunteers on our teams. So we're somewhere just south, I believe, of like 1,000 volunteers. This is a good opportunity to point out that just make sure that you have all of the counties that you want to serve in your profile and that you can view them. If you do self-scheduling, just make sure that you have all of those counties in there. There is an area in Volunteer Connection to add that. It's super easy for your rep to add those counties as well. So feel free to reach out to us and we can make sure you have visibility of every county that you want to serve in. I would be remiss to say that we also have 200 plus miles of border with Pennsylvania and a huge border with Massachusetts, Vermont. So you do not have to just stay in the state of New York. Does anybody raise a hand, give a thumbs up if you cover shifts elsewhere? I think of Karen King down in Pennsylvania, who covers shifts for us in the southern portion of the Hudson Valley, and some other individuals. A couple of thumbs up there. Nice, nice. Yeah, it's great to see individuals supporting so many different areas. We have a lot of fun too. And with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Carrie for our Energizer. A little bit of fun.
All right, thank you. So we wanted to take a moment to welcome all of our new volunteers to the NY Penn team. So our last meeting was in May. So since our last meeting, since May 5th, we have had 77 new volunteers joining the team. So it has been an extremely busy summer. We had a lot of students and people who have availability over the summer come in. So that was fantastic. And we really appreciate all the new people. I think I put in the chat earlier, we love new energy and ideas. Of course, we appreciate our long-term volunteers too. One is silver and the other is gold, right? So very excited to have all those new folks. And in that vein, we are going to do a little activity here, see how much variety we have in terms of tenure with the Red Cross. So you can, as Casey highlighted, go up to the top of your screen and either click the raise hand button or press the react button and then choose a thumbs up, or I guess any of the other ones if you want, and give us and let us know how long you've been with the Red Cross. So first, if you have been with the Red Cross for 1 year or less, you can raise your hand or react with a thumbs up. We got one. Couple folks. Awesome. Thank you to all our new people, and I appreciate new folks coming on the meeting. I know there's a lot of information when you first start, so I appreciate you parsing through it all and making your way on here. All right, so you can take your hands down, and then we will go to our next group, who has been here for 1 to 5 years. Lots of people. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. As Ellen said, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you so much. And next, who has been here for 5 to 10 years? Casey? Seeing some other folks. Nice. Dedication. And finally, this is a big range because I know we have some very, very long-term folks here, but who has been here for more than 10 years? I know we got a couple real long timers. I think we had Lee Rogers put 50 years in the chat earlier, which is amazing. I know Sylvia's on the call, and Sylvia, we were trying to do the math. I think it's somewhere in the vicinity of 60 years. So amazing, amazing representation from all different groups. Thank you so much. So as the next part of our Energizer, please pull up the chat if you haven't already. You can do that on the top right next to where you had the raise and react. If your chat isn't open, you can click the chat button to open it and put in the chat in one word what inspires you to volunteer with the Red Cross. So what either inspired you to join or what inspires you to keep going, but what inspires you to volunteer with us? Oh yes, and if you still have your hand up, you can click the raise icon again to lower your hand.
We have service, potential, humanity, which I love, socialization, the donors, community, helping the community, helping people, giving back, connection, doing good, service.
Camaraderie is good.
Donors.
Very nice. Amazing. Amazing words, everyone.
Yeah, this is there's a number of you who cannot donate blood, and what better way to give to others than to give your time and to be a donor ambassador. I know I have several people on my team that is your passion. That is what you do to give back. That is really cool. Helping, living, meeting people. Helped you during a flood, Leslie, in 2011. Wow, and you wanted to give back. Oh, that warms my heart. That's awesome. Paying it forward. Community.
Thank you so much, everyone. Amazing words. Variety, but all within the kind of same scope. So that's fantastic. So we can move on to the next slide, which I believe is going back to Casey.
Back to me. So we think it's always important whenever we gather to have a mission moment. And I figured I would share my family's story right now. It's been a very interesting year and a half for the Garvey family, and not without a little bit of discord and difficulty and uncertainty, but I want to share how the Red Cross has impacted my family, and in particular my father. Uh, a year and a half ago, he was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. It's one of those ones where, like, maybe 10,000 cases a year across, across the globe. And luckily, it's a form of the disease that is very treatable and reacts well to treatment. And he's responding well. But what I can tell you, and the photo there, you can see I've got the shirt that I'm wearing now. That's me with him at the University of Vermont Infusion Center. That was 3 weeks ago. Uh, I had wanted to get over to one of his infusions to spend some time with him there, and he is now up to 30 plus transfusions. And without that blood, he would not have well-being, he would not have health. His life would definitely be in jeopardy. And his hemoglobin was low yesterday. So he had to get a double bag again today. So I get goosebumps when I talk about this because my family had never been directly impacted by the work that we do. And he is so grateful. He's golfing again. He's got one of these electronic bikes, which I don't even know I would get on one of those things. I'd probably be like crashing on that thing. But it's restored his wellness and it really gives us hope. And we don't know how many more transfusions he's going to need. He is A negative. So if you're A neg and you've donated, there's a good chance that he has gotten perhaps your blood or somebody on this call or somebody who we've collected blood from at one of our drives. The other additional situation here is that my brother this summer was diagnosed with a rare form of lymphoma. So we got hit again with it. And my point here, so that's me with Sean there in the photo in the kind of upper left. So Sean is doing well and he is doing his chemo and his infusions. What I didn't fully realize though is about 25% of the donations that we get go to cancer patients. So I often think of, it going to those trauma victims, car accident victims, things of that nature. But, a quarter do go to cancer patients. And I just want to take this opportunity to just thank everybody on this call because volunteers are the heart and soul of the mission. You are force multipliers. I'm telling you, if we don't have volunteers at those drives, all of my colleagues can attest, our phones usually start lighting up. Is there a volunteer? Can you get a volunteer? We don't have anyone over at registration. By having that capable, steady hand at registration in canteen, keeping an eye on people, it makes everything work better, more efficiently, and just creates a safer, welcoming drive. So from the bottom of my heart, and my dad, he said, tell my story, as much as you can, share this story. So just want to say that thank you to everybody on this call because without these units, we don't know what the outcome would look like for him. So thank you very much for that. Moving on. And another mission moment, and perhaps someone can drop the video in the chat. This was incredible. I was drinking my coffee like 3 weeks ago, and I saw 3 of our collections phlebotomists on the Today Show. I had gotten a heads up before, so it wasn't a total surprise, but there they were. And it was a really impactful segment. Thank you for putting it in the chat. They collected blood live on the air. It was meaningful. It was impactful. They told a very impactful recipient story about a family and their young daughter. So I encourage you, it's a 5-minute video. You will swell with pride as a Red Crosser to watch this video. It was so well produced and just so meaningful. And I was like, that was the most well-produced communication I've seen on television for the Red Cross. So take a moment after the call or later this week to watch that video. Has anyone had the chance to watch that or did they see it live? It's like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was great. Craig Melvin and a couple other people donated live on the air. I mean, what a great way to broadcast and really shine a light on what we do. It was great. So there's that, another mission moment. And with that, we have a guest speaker. And Carrie, would you like to introduce Wendy or?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
So Wendy is here with us today. Wendy is someone that I work with very closely in the Buffalo area and just does everything that it takes to get those blood drives up and running, including going herself and making it happen when all else fails. So Wendy, I'll turn it over to you if there's anything else that you would like people to know about you and to get started talking about our high school blood drives.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. First, I'd like to just say I do work across the cubicle aisle from Carrie. It's a pleasure and an honor to be there and see her, how much she cares about each of you guys and really puts her commitment into it. I know the entire volunteer team does, but I get to see what Carrie does up close personal, and I cannot say thank you enough for the team. And I do want to start by saying thank you to all our blood donor ambassadors. I get the honor and privilege of meeting many of you when you're at my blood drives, and I cannot tell you how happy I am when I walk in. I mean, I know you're there because I've seen it scheduled, but just walking in when I'm like kind of running between blood drive to blood drive and all the tasks that we have to do as account managers, and just how comforting and happy it makes me to see that smile that I get when I walk in and see you sitting there. It really does take a load off of our shoulders knowing you're there. What was said before is so true. You really, have no idea, I don't think, how much of a positive impact you make on the blood drives, but more specifically, the blood that we collect for patients in need. You make people come back. I'm sure that I know drives, I'd like to see the statistics that have some of you at, maybe somebody wasn't going to come back till maybe 6 months, but maybe are helping with the book now or reminding them to remake their appointment, and you're increasing the times that they give per year. You do have such a huge impact. And I don't want any of you to ever forget that or ever feel like that isn't the case, because it sure is. You allow us to save more lives every day. So thank you. So I'm going to speak briefly today about high school blood drives. Some schools have started, some are starting next week. And I've been with the Red Cross for 3 years now. And, we have our regular rotation drives, our corporate drives, our organizations that host once or twice a year. And everybody does, such a great job. But one of the things I quickly learned was that some folks across the board, even in collections and in donor recruitment, had a little trepidation about high school drives. And let me just say this first. High school drives are literally, quote, the lifeblood of the blood donor base. If you've ever had the chance at your drives with all different ages of folks and ask them if they don't mind you asking, when the first time they started giving, many of them will say in high school or college. And really and truly, that experience that they have at that high school drive is so impactful on how fast that they come back. So I'd like to just take a few minutes today and do a little bit of myth busting and share some meaningful impacts that the blood donor ambassador, you guys all have when you are helping out at a high school drive. So next screen. I'm not sure. Oh, can I change my slide? Nope. Can someone switch my slide for me? Ah, got it.
They've abandoned you, Wendy.
Yeah, there we go. Now I'm good. It came up synced. Okay, so here, let's talk about some myth versus facts. First off, I know that some folks have said, it's hard to get in schools. There's so much security. Unfortunately, we do live in the age where there is security. But if you have any questions about the specifics about your your high school drive, if you're volunteering to be at a high school drive. The account managers should get you the information. We usually get it through, like I get mine through Carrie and she passes it on to you guys. Or you can reach out if you have any questions. But I will tell you, a sure bet is to make sure you have a driver's license on hand. Sometimes when you do need to walk up, there's a little camera and you have to actually show it to get into the building. But we do usually let our blood program leaders know you're coming. So if you have any questions in your volunteering, make it easy on yourself. If for some reason you haven't received the information, don't fret and don't struggle. Just reach out and let your contact know, like Harry or whoever that is, hey, can you give me some specifics on where to enter, where to park, and we'll make sure that you have that information. So once you get there, sometimes your account managers are there if you're a little concerned about, how you get into the building. Please feel free to go ahead and ask us and we'll come and get you and greet you and check you right in there. Okay. There's not much for the BDA to do. This is a very common one that I actually hear people talk about. There is so much, my friends, that we really need you there for, and I'm going to talk about that, but the high school drives, are a little different at every school. And we need you there. And I'm going to talk about many of the things. We need you to be there to help us, to help the students, to help the collections team. It might be different at each drive, but I assure you, there are things that we need you there for. Another thing is there's a common concern about checking height and weight. Some of you may or may not know this, but if you are under the age of 18, actually 18 and younger, there is different height and weight for the young adults, and females are different than males. Just to give you an idea, basically, if you are a female donor and you're 5 foot, you don't need to know this, but I'm just going to give you a different example here. If you're a female donor and you are 5 foot tall, you need to weigh 138 pounds. If you are 5 foot tall as a male donor, you only need to weigh 110. And I'm just going to tell you this just so you know. That has to do with, science facts based on body mass and blood, the amount of volume of blood. So, people get all kind of caught up in that because they think about BMI, because basically if you're shorter, you have to weigh more. Because as a young adult, because we want to make sure that it's safe for them and they have their blood. But you do not, as a blood donor ambassador, need to be doing that. The collections team will take care of that if there is a concern. So that is not something that you need to be concerned about. If for some reason somebody asks you at the school or whatever, you do let them know that that is done during the health screening. Some account managers and teams prefer not to even put the information out ahead of time, because then the students may fib a little, because if they know that weight and then they donate and then they have a reaction because it wasn't accurate. But you do not need to know that. Another one that I actually heard, some folks talking about this. They're like, oh my gosh, the kids are passing out left and right. Now, you might have a fluky thing, but I have seen just as many reactions at non-high school drives than I have seen at high school drives. And sometimes actually it's even better, because we're trying to we're kind of like got our eyes on the kids. We're watching them on, did they eat and different things like that. A lot of questions are being maybe asked of them and educated that our regular donors kind of forget. Oops. So that's not the case by any means. And there are things that you can do to kind of cut down on those, things happening. Like often when I'm at the canteen and I hear somebody, like they just donated and they're like, oh my gosh, did you see how much blood they took? I say, shh. I tell them, I say, you know what, you're okay with that, but maybe not everybody is. And actually, when I do my recruitment meetings, when I train my canteen volunteers that I know are going to be helping there, I tell them what they should and should not be saying. One other thing is that students don't like adults. I hear that occasionally. Oh, the kids don't want to be around us. You know what? Actually, they do. they're inspired by you. They still may act goofy and whatever and a little, crazy, but so often I get the honor of going in and doing recruitment meetings with the student groups beforehand, and they are very interested in what goes on. They're very engaged in wanting to make a difference. And if you talk with them, they will talk with you. I assure you that. Maybe you're going to have a one-off, but really and truly, my true experience in watching the students interact with the Red Cross volunteers that are there and the staff, they have a great interaction, just like anybody. Okay, so that's the myth busting. So let's go to the next screen. I could talk about a lot of ways you make a difference. I just want to share that with you, but I can't talk forever today. You won't want me to. But when I say that you are the extra eyes and ears for the collections team and the account managers, this is true. Now, when you're at a high school drive, you might get asked to do different things. You might be doing the registration. You might be at the canteen. You might be a transition trainer. But you're kind of watching because you have experience. A lot of you that will come into the high school drives, you have more experience. Even if you've been to a couple blood drives, you have more experience than these students, and sometimes the teaching staff or the high school staff that are there. So it's just so helpful. If anybody has ever been at a high school drive, there's things going on, there's students coming in and out, the bells are ringing and people are going back and forth. It's always just good to have an extra eyes and ears. The account managers often are at high school drives, even if it's just the beginning, but sometimes they have multiple drives and cannot be there. And you are the experience. The collections managers and collections teams, they're working on taking care of the students, the donors, once they get to them and get them through. So having someone at that main starting point of the registration table and or the canteen and that kind of area is invaluable. I have some high school drives where they don't want their students doing the registration for various reasons. And then I have some where they want the students to know. But often students, if they change. Sometimes they're coming down to volunteer for 2 periods, or maybe an hour or so. So it's invaluable to have you there so you can help and transition and train those student volunteers, and maybe just even standing there as they register a few folks through. So that is really helpful. And sometimes you are asked to do that. Sometimes you might ask to be at the canteen, and they may have volunteer students there, and you again might think, well, they're doing this. But again, we need those extra eyes and ears just to make sure, because sometimes they get a little distracted, they're talking to a friend over here, meanwhile 2 people are coming off the beds, so just having that extra person to be there, be watching, be guiding, be coaching, and stepping in where needed. I mean, I'm sure you have all seen that, where you've been at a drive where you've maybe had a volunteer helping or somebody was helping, and you needed to kind of just step forward because you knew that something needed to be done. One thing I did forget, I just looked down at my notes real quick. And I apologize for going out of order. In case you're curious, in New York State, the age is 16 to give with a parental consent and 17 without that. So I did want to mention to that. So there are a lot of students coming and a lot of things going on at those high school drives that we may ask your assistance with. One of them could be we're given a birthday list, and you may be helping the volunteer student just to look at that birthday list. The last thing, though, that I want to say to you is you really are an ambassador for us. Because when you're at the high school, you are giving an example of someone that is giving of their time to help the American Red Cross collect blood to save lives. you never know, those students, they need community service. We have high school volunteers that do come on board in the summer, and they can, they help for the summer and different times, or they maybe decide they want to help in humanitarian. But you are setting the great example for them by being there. And you are an ambassador for volunteering for the American Red Cross. And that's invaluable too. You may have heard me use that word invaluable a couple times today, but that's because you all are invaluable. What you do makes such a difference. And lastly, I guess before we're going to open up, if you have any questions or comments, I do again want to say thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Okay.
Thank you so
Questions?
much, Wendy. Yes, if we can go to the next slide and then we can take questions. You can raise your hand and then you can also come off mute. So at the top right next to the camera and leave button, you'll have an unmute button as well.
I see Robbie with a raised hand.
Hi, so my question is not just for high school, but certainly included high school. I've noticed, especially with the gentlemen, some of the super cool dudes don't want to sit at the canteen.
Mm-hmm.
How maybe somebody has suggestions on how to handle that. I tried to like turn it on myself, like, well, like we want to get me in trouble, or you can just sit for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I get them talking and they'll usually stay.
Yeah, that's great. You kind of already know the answer, but I do want to say that it is kind of funny. Two scenarios in high schools. Sometimes you have to kick them out of the canteen, but I allow them usually a little bit of grace time. Maybe they don't want to be stay in math, to get back to math class. But you're right, there are some who just want to rush through. And frankly, usually I just say that, I say, you know what, I really do thank you for coming in. Some people are in a hurry, and I just say, but really an important part of the donation process is you just waiting, 5 to 10 minutes at least here with us. If you could just have a snack, chat with us or chat with the others. We just absolutely want to make sure that we're doing what's best for you, and this makes your process safer.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, great. I know exactly what you're talking about. But you're right. If you can get them talking, like ask them a question, what I often ask that question about, do you mind me asking, when you first donated, or, what made you start donating? And that usually will get a couple minutes right there.
Other questions? If you want to come off mute, you can just click on the microphone. And Wendy, I apologize. My computer fully froze as you started your presentation.
No worries.
I've had adults who refused to go to the canteen.
Yeah.
No, I don't have time. Well, we'd really rather have you sit for 5 minutes than go outside and pick you up off the ground, out of the parking lot. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And that usually makes them stop and think.
Yeah, 100%. I covered like some specific topics for high schools, but is there a question? If anybody has any questions that I didn't cover, I'm more than willing, because I will tell you that we do often need your help at high schools, and I do understand it's one that's maybe a little more nerve-wracking at times, but it can be really fun too. I'll tell you, when you see those first-time donors, it just makes you feel so good. If you want to feel your heart about people getting ready to, come and give blood and getting a little nervous and up on that table the first time, you're going to get to thank so many first-time donors at a high school drive.
I have a question, Irma Ortiz.
Yeah.
I'm new at this for this particular department. I've never seen a schedule of high schools. Does that get posted at all so we can have access to volunteering?
We don't post them for Sullivan County. Sullivan County high schools do not want us there. They have a very strict requirement for anyone entering the building, and they pretty much don't want us there because we're outsiders. So,
Yeah, but has
sorry to
that,
jump in on that, but I do
No,
know
it's
the
fine.
answer to that one.
who is it, Lori?
No, it's Mia.
Behind me. So to that, have they been spoken to or been oriented in relation to allowing it in Sullivan County?
It's a security policy that they have, not allowing the outsiders into the building pretty
Yeah, but
much.
that doesn't make
But
sense because
we
they do
they
allow
only
them.
allowed us in during COVID. We were using their sites for blood drives. And there's
Mhm.
only a few high schools in Sullivan County that have enough population to even run a blood drive.
So I will tell you what I said also applies to college or university drives too. So we didn't say that, but I have some college drives that I have some organizations who help me with the recruitment, but the day of, because they have their class schedules back and forth, I prefer to have a consistent person there. And then the students will come in and out and help in different areas, but to have a blood donor ambassador there is, again, invaluable.
And it does vary a lot per area, just to clarify as well. So there are some places where we might have a lot of high school drives and some places where we might not have quite so many. So I definitely recommend, if you're not seeing high school drives in your area, they would be posted on Volunteer Connection just like any other blood drives. So definitely check with your rep if you're not seeing them or if you have questions about what's available locally.
And if I might do a little plug here, if you have contacts at a high school, maybe a retired teacher, or you know retired teachers, or at a university where we are not doing blood drives, can make the connection. Say, see who you know that you can connect with us, and your folks can get you to the donor recruitment team that will schedule that, whether it's our booking team or the account manager. But really, most of the drives that we get come through a connection to the school. And for the high schools, we offer great scholarships. Some of the colleges do. It's service learning opportunities. So I'm going ahead, Carrie, and making this little plug, because you guys as American Red Cross volunteers, you are our ambassadors. So if you can make any connections for us, we appreciate that, because we do have a smaller amount of young donors than we should because of COVID, because we weren't in those high schools or colleges. So if you think of it like a pipeline, those donors didn't come into the pipeline, so we are having to work hard to expand and get more of them in.
That is
Hi,
very
it's
good.
Teresa Rossi. I'm sorry, Casey. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I have a question with the high school drives. Who dictates what the blood donor ambassadors do? Is it the charge at the high school drive, or do you kind of just go where you're told based on the adult in charge there?
Usually the account manager is the one who will be determining because when we go in and we work with a high school and we do the recruitment meeting, we're talking to the staff member at the high school who's the responsible party. So we're going to find out, do they want their students doing registration? Do they have a staff member that's going to do it? Are the students going to be helping? How long are they going to be there? There's a whole bunch of variables. So often at that point, we are figuring out what they'll be taking care of and what our need is. And then, especially if the account manager can be there at the beginning, I usually try to be there at the beginning at least. And like I said, it's not always possible. So if it is not the account manager, then the charge would be the one to let you know because we will communicate that to the collections team charge, so they know, hey, I'm not going to be there. This is what we need the blood donor ambassador to do. So one of the two of us, I would say.
Thank you.
One other thing is that sometimes we work with the students when they're running what is it, Leaders for Life? Leaders for Life, I think it's called.
Leaders Save Lives. Leaders
Save Lives. Okay,
yeah.
I was close.
Yeah, great.
And they're running, they're in charge, quote unquote, of a drive that they're running so they can earn scholarships, etc. But, you know, we're there kind of nudging them along, helping them with the things they might not do exactly right or not be familiar with. So that's another opportunity to work with them.
Yeah, so let me just mention that real fast. So Leaders Save Lives drives happen typically in the summer or between December 15th and January 15th. And they can be a high school or a college student where they are, they have a blood drive that they've been responsible for recruiting donors for. And they earn, usually they have the opportunity to earn an Amazon gift card, and then they go in a drawing for scholarships. So depending on, you know, how many units are collected. And you're absolutely right. I'm so glad you brought that up, because similar to high school drives, some are like right on the ball. They've got everything. They're good. But again, in those kinds of drives, they might be bringing in some friends, you know, family. It's really good to have a consistent person that's experienced there with them. How are we doing on time, guys? I don't want to cut into your rest of your meeting.
I think we're a little over, which is totally fine because that's the spirit of the call and these are great questions. I would say at this point, if you have more questions, go ahead and load them into the chat or let your rep know and we can relay those questions. But Wendy, thank you so much for all of this beneficial information. And it's good timing, right? Because, oh my gosh, schools are starting soon.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. You can have the rest of your evening back or you feel free to hang with us. But thank you so much.
You know what? I think I am going to hang with you guys and I'll be on at the end if there's anything. How's that sound?
We're cool like that.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Wendy.
All right.
You know, I would like to say one thing. I have been very blessed with my August drive that I do, that inevitably every year there's someone who comes in either as a first-time donor because they just turned 16 or 17, or they make it an annual ritual that they come in and they donate. I have one young lady who she had a traumatic brain injury when she was 4. And now that she's just graduated high school, since she turned 16, every year she comes in and does a birthday donation. It's kind of cool to see that happen.
I love hearing those stories. It's so touching. Thank you for sharing that. And what we're going to do is touch on just a couple more things. And then in the interest of time, we'll try to get to Q&A pretty quickly so you all can have your evening back. But Sylvia's just going to touch on promotions real quick.
Yep, I'll make it quick. So we like to give you a little sneak peek, if we can, of what donor incentives are coming up for the next few months. So the first one, hopefully you've all heard of this and are excited for it, which is going to be, if I can just skip this slides. There we go. So starting this week up to September 21st, we have our Labor Day incentive, which is a partnership between the American Red Cross and Peanuts. And it's going to be a mystery t-shirt. So this picture, we finally have the pictures. They were released today, so you might be the first people that are seeing the design. So what is the incentive? At the blood drives, you're going to see we have these blue bags, like the ones by the feet of this lady. They are sealed because they are mystery bags. And each bag is going to have a t-shirt with one of these 4 designs. All the bags have the size of the t-shirt on the outside, which means we don't need to, nor should we open those bags. We just hand one of the mystery bags to the donors if they come to donate between August 29 and September 21st. Each design is iconic, so the donors won't know what they're getting until they open their bag, and that just brings a little more fun to this special campaign. For those of you who have been with us for a couple of years, we had a similar promotion. I think it was 2 years ago, but it was just one design, and everybody loved them. Like, we ran out, so we are bringing this again, but with a little more, a few more designs just to make it more exciting. So in addition to the t-shirts, inside some bags, it's going to be very random, some donors may find a golden ticket. And this ticket, if you have a lucky donor who finds the ticket, what they can do, they can go online. All the information is going to be in the ticket, and they will be able to claim one of each of the 4 designs. So they'll be able to get 4 t-shirts, these lucky winners. So like I said, this is random. It's across the country, so you may or may not see somebody who gets it, but that just gives it even more fun to this campaign. Let's see, the next one. After this campaign is over, we'll go to a $10 Amazon gift card, which starts September 22nd to October 19th. So donors who come to donate during those days will be able to get an e-card for a $10 value for Amazon. Following that, October 20th to the 16th, there will be another gift card incentive for donors, which will be a $10 e-gift card, but they can choose what store they want it from. And there's a big variety of stores, from home decor, clothing, restaurants, movies, etc. And in addition to that, there'll also be a drawing for one of 3 $5,000 gift cards as well. So this is across the country. For Thanksgiving, November 17 to December 7, we will have a Thanksgiving campaign, which is a partnership between the Red Cross and Pac-Man, and it's going to be socks, and we know the donors love socks as well. We don't have any information other than that, so this is not the picture of the socks. This is just a picture that I grabbed from the internet, but I just wanted to, give you a little sneak peek of that. And then for the winter holidays, December 19th to January 4th, we will have, as in previous years, a long sleeve winter holiday t-shirt as well. We don't have the graphics yet, but as soon as we have those, we will be sharing it with you guys. So these are really good incentives for donors. Help us promote those incentives when you are volunteering, help us distribute them, help us sort them, put them nicely out on the canteen. You guys know what to do. And just spreading the word about it and helping us with the distribution is a huge task as well. Let's see, who is next?
That would be me. Hi, everyone. This is Aaron. I'm going to go over some friendly customer service reminders. I know you all are doing a great job out in the field, but it doesn't hurt to just get a little bit of a pep talk. So as donor ambassadors, our main mission is to act as ambassadors to our donors. We welcome them, greet them, thank them. Just as we cannot achieve the mission of the Red Cross without the generosity of volunteers like you, we cannot save lives without the generosity of our donors. Please remember to extend our gratitude and kindness to our donors at all times. Also ensure your passion comes with compassion. Sometimes our passion can come across as too intense, so be sure to read donors' body language and treat them accordingly. Meet them where they are. We want all people to feel welcome and comfortable at our blood drives. Also, pay attention to the donors. Whether they're entering the blood drive space or at canteen, it is essential to keep our eyes and ears aware for them. We want them to feel welcomed, and we also want them to feel safe after their donation and to be aware if they might have a post-donation reaction. So just as we were talking about with canteen earlier, it's always good to keep your eyes and ears on them at all times. Also, use the busyness of the schedule or the lulls in between to educate donors about the blood donor app or how to make the most impact out of their donation by switching their donation type to Power Reds, if possible. And then when all else fails, if your customer service skills can only go so far and there's a situation you can't resolve, use the customer care number, and you can give that freely to donors at blood drives. And the customer care number is listed right there. And let's see if we can put that in the chat as well. Just give me 1 second while I do that. All right, put it right there in the chat for everybody. And then the next thing is a new volunteer incentive, which is really exciting. So for this, you have the opportunity to earn a 30-ounce stainless steel powder-coated vacuum tumbler with a handle. I know it's a mouthful, but trust me, it's worth it. That'll be mailed to your address on Volunteer Connection. So make sure you have your address updated correctly in Volunteer Connection, otherwise it'll go to somebody else's house. The qualifications for this incentive are register for and attend 2 blood drives in September, 2 drives in October, and 2 drives in November. and also complete one post-shift satisfaction survey for a shift in the month of September, a shift in the month of October, and a shift in the month of November. So altogether, that's at least 6 blood drives and 3 post-shift satisfaction surveys. Little bit of extra information. You must be registered for your blood drives on the shift tool and volunteer connection. If you cancel one of your shifts, you must sign up and attend another one to qualify. If one of your registered shifts is canceled, you must sign up for an alternate shift to qualify. You must be registered for and attend 2 shifts in each month to qualify. If you are not receiving the post-shift satisfaction survey, a big red flag. If you're not receiving this survey by either email or text message, please contact your local rep. So if you're in the Syracuse district, that's me, Albany, Casey, Rochester, Sylvia, Buffalo, Southern Tier, Cary. Contact your rep immediately so you don't miss out on the chance to win this this exciting prize. And then if you swap shifts with someone, please notify your reps so the alternate person can get credit for the shift. And that's it for this incentive.
Great job. Perfect summation. Yeah, we're all for people swapping shifts. That's cool. We just need to make sure that we have the names because sometimes buildings also need security information. They need to know who's going to be there and things like that. I'm going to do a very short PSA here on the post-shift survey. Every year, July 1st starts our new fiscal year, and you should be opted back in to the survey, the text survey that goes out. We hope that all of you do it. We look at all of it, and we reach out to you, and where we can, we will take action. You are the ones that are doing the mission. You know, we're here in the background to do what we can to empower you with everything that you need, but do not be afraid to tell us if things are not going well. We don't take it in any way like any kind of tattletelling or anything like that. We work in a regulated environment. We just want everybody to be doing their level best to meet the mission, to take care of our donors. And so with this, there's also a new code. So I had sent out some information a few weeks ago that had an old code. Down here at the bottom, there's a new number if you want to opt back in. And we can probably put that into the chat as well. The 90419 is a number. And you don't have to do the survey every time after a shift, but as much as you feel comfortable doing, we want that information so that we can improve, make it a better experience for you, the donors, the staff, our site contacts, our BPLs, our coordinators, our blood program leaders at sites. So we encourage you to do that. And that's partially why we're doing that fun incentive for the next few months is to just get more information so that we can continually improve. And we'll go to the next slide. We'll also share these slides as well. I'm not going to go through this information. We're going to share the recording and the slides afterward. But yeah, just do the survey. We'll reach out to you. We'll let you know if there's things that we can change. And I cannot tell you how many ideas, new innovations have come in from volunteers. If we hear it from you, it gives us a little bit more sway to try to make some changes. It makes such an impact to hear it directly from the volunteers who are out there doing the mission. So we're right up against time. And if you have to leave at 7, we understand, we apologize. We went right up against 7 o'clock, but we want to allow a little space for Q&A. If you're able to hang around, we'll be here for a few minutes. We're going to skip proactive scheduling for now. Would like to open up the lines. If you want to click the microphone button, you can come off of mute. You can put it into chat. The floor is yours to ask questions.
Hi, Casey. It's Teresa Rossi. I was just wondering from the other volunteers if they've been using the hot hands warmers and if they've noticed a decrease in the number of hemoglobin deferrals at the drives.
Yeah, the hot hands. What are folks' experiences with that?
I've had
Yeah.
Lee Rogers here. I've had people ask for them and appreciate them, but being registration, I don't see how what happens if they get deferred at all, because it could be a totally different reason. But I have been asked for them, especially in the summer. You think you don't need it, but some of the places are so air conditioned. It's
Yeah.
And car air conditioning can be pretty cool.
Mhm.
And Dave, you have your hand up?
Yeah, hi. I didn't know anything about the hand warmers at my drives.
Okay.
So, but I have, if people have told me that they've had problems in the past with the hemoglobin, I tell them to, keep rubbing their hands to keep their fingers warm.
Super helpful. And I'll ask our fearless leader, Ellen, I'm sure there's just certain pockets across the state where they're perhaps used a little more. Might you have any insights on that? Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't have any specific insight on that. And I'm sure as the seasons change, so to speak, they may become more useful as well. I don't have any official information. I wouldn't want to give anything that I didn't know for sure, but it apparently has been helping. And it's something they're continuing to try and do. We did that new technology with the consolidated physical findings, and it's related to that. So we sometimes have to go with the flow. So unfortunately, I don't know anything more specific, Casey.
No, fair enough. Jim, I might be out of order, but Jim, I see your hand.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you. I got a suggestion. When we have our blood drives, at the information table there, you guys send out a QR code for the people to do Rapid Pass, and they try to give that to us to sign in. And the laptops, as far as scanning, won't do those QR codes that you have for Rapid Pass. So I have either a suggestion if there's some way that you can make it so those codes can be able to be scanned, or make up another piece of paper that we put out front saying that in order to register, please have your donor card, your driver's license, or your military ID ready for us. Because 9 out of 10 people that come through that door have their cell phones with that QR code that you have to use for Rapid Pass when they're overdoing the medical interview.
Okay. And I want to make sure I have the spirit of the question correct. So you're not referencing, are you referencing the flyer that,
No, I'm referencing that when they come in, when they sign up for Rapid Pass, they're sent the QR code.
Yeah.
Okay, when they come to the registration table, they're trying to show that QR code for us to scan, and it don't work.
It's not, yeah, exactly. Oh, so yeah, I wish, yeah, because they will do that. So thank you for clarifying, because there's also a flyer that has a QR code. If someone wants to do Rapid Pass, they can scan it on their phone, and then it'll bring up Rapid Pass. So thank you for the clarification. Yeah, it's when they have it on the donor app, I'm always like, hey, did you happen to do Rapid Pass? Oh, that's wonderful. Can you actually go back to the main screen real quick and then get your donor ID, and then they scan that one in. Yeah, I wish we could. Does anyone have creative ideas on that messaging? Because that always happens.
Well, when they walk in, the first thing that we do is we ask them if they did their Rapid Pass. And then if they have the Rapid Pass up and they're showing it to us. Wait, no, that's the one you use in health history. Are you on the app? Yes. Okay. Click done. Go back and scroll down just a little. You'll see donor card. That's what you want to give us. The other one only goes in health history.
Yeah.
If they did it on the email rather than in the app, no, hang on to that. You're going to give it to them when you go into health history. Do you have your license or your donor card with you? And usually, I'm sorry. Oh, no problem. They pull it right out.
It's a little
quirk. I just had luck saying that's for the medical staff. can you show me your donor ID
Yeah.
card through the app?
Yeah,
Right.
that works too.
Yeah.
Hopefully
But a
that's
lot of them don't.
an education piece that is hopefully a one time or two time, and by the second time they'll remember.
Yeah.
But that's
Oh,
well,
I
you know,
have
while we're
people
there
that
to
come in
guide them and
every
educate
time
them.
with it up. Every time. I'm no, wrong one. Need the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little system limitation. It's imperfect, for sure. But yeah, that's again why it's so meaningful to have you all there guiding, coaching people, because yeah, they're gonna try to scan that in and like recognize it. That's awesome. You're making our job easy today. Just go back to the previous screen. So for anyone on the call who doesn't fully understand the spirit of the question, if someone comes in with Rapid Pass, the QR code that it's completed, they will come in, they'll usually present that to you. That's great. That is for the staff. That is for their check-in area. You just need them to go to the main menu or the main page on the donor app to get there's a little donor ID. So it's just one of those things. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just not for your registration scanner. LB, is that Leslie Baker? Leslie Baker, go ahead.
Hi. Yes, it is me. I just want to know what is happening with Book Now, because I know when it first started, we were all trying to do it, and I don't know about everybody else, but for a couple of my locations, the internet wasn't working well, or the tablet itself would go in and out. And then over the last few drives, I've noticed, actually several drives, I've noticed that Book Now has not really been presented the tablet at all. So is that something that we should still be asking the staff about, or are we letting that go, or where are we with Book Now?
Well,
Go ahead.
sorry, Casey, I didn't mean to cut you off
No,
there.
you're good.
I just wanted to assure you that we are definitely not abandoning Book Now. Refresh devices were provided to every location, so they should have devices. I appreciate if you ask the staff about it. They should be offering it to you. It is still very much an active program, and the only caveat I will say is that it does in fact sometimes depend on the location and their internet connectivity. So if that's an issue, then that's obviously something, that would be a roadblock at the moment. But yes, Book Now is a thing. Feel free to ask for it.
Okay, I will continue to do so. Thank you.
Yep.
And Leslie, I know specifically in our area from the in-service that I had with donor services that we are trying to drive more Book Now. We are not where we want to be. It is a big goal so if you're on my team, I know that specifically you can check with your rep if you're in another territory. And Robbie, I think you've been waiting patiently. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So I'm a little, is Book Now the registration thing on the tablet that they have set up with the scanner?
Yeah. Yep. So good question. Yeah. So
Okay.
Book Now, again, because we may have new volunteers on the call. Book Now is a tablet that volunteer staff can use to sign people up for their next donation. It's actually super helpful because it will, if that location is up again when it'll show closest to I think someone keep me honest, I believe it's their zip code or the zip code that they're at right now. It'll show them all the eligible drives the next time they're up for donation.
Okay, that's separate from the sign-in scanning.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard about that till right now.
And nobody should feel bad that they haven't seen it because it's kind of been a staggered rollout. And for these reasons, certain sites are not going to use it. So do not feel like you're in the dark if you haven't done it. Feel free to ask at one of your upcoming drives. Hey, I was curious, could I see a Book Now tablet? They're pretty useful, and it really drives more of a show rate. We see that when we use Book Now, people show up more. Signing right then and there for either that location or somewhere else close by.
Okay, and just because somebody mentioned that they're always being told that they're not charged, I always bring a charging brick with me. Just because you never know.
Oh wow.
What electricity they got going on, and I've been told they try to use the dead ones and give us the pre-charged ones in the beginning of the blood drive. And if I can just shout out, I sent Carrie an email last week while I was at a blood drive, because I've been to a lot of blood drives, even though I can no longer give. My daughter and husband go every 2 months and give. So I've been to a lot of blood drives. I have never seen a team like the one last week. They would rival any pit crew on any car race. They were unbelievable, and still had the time to be friendly.
That's awesome. Sounds like a shout out is in order.
Yeah, I did. I sent Carrie an email right away. I did fill out the survey as well, but I'm going to tell as many people who will listen.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robbie. I will make sure that we pass that along when the survey comes in. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, do not hesitate to let us know when things go really well, right? We make sure that's a big thing in our culture. We have a strong culture of collaboration and recognizing one another. And we all have various means of doing so, awards and little things that we can do to recognize the staff. And yeah, keep it coming. All right, Lee Rogers, your hand is up.
Yes, I basically do the same drive over and over again. It's a community drive. And the re-sign is a big, if we don't get re-signs, the next drive is just way down. We're not in a place where we get walk-ins. And this last drive, the supervisor was actually re-signing people, and it was very good. A lot of our people come and they're really not tech savvy. And you ask them to use the Book Now app, and they just get, are frustrated.
Yeah.
And so, and sometimes the device is not available, which is also frustrating.
And Lee, was it the staff leading the charge on that, or were you?
Yes.
Did they have? Okay.
Yes. So the last drive I was at, the staff was, and I would say almost 100% of the people asked re-signed at that point.
Wow.
So it's a very important interaction there to make sure that the re-signs happen.
Wow. That's a best case scenario. And that's the thing too, is it can be a balance of both volunteers and staff as well. I think that's kind of the approach that we're looking at, is have one available for you and, canteen, and they also will do it at the bedside. Thank you for sharing that. We got to replicate that. That is really neat. And Paul.
Another thing, instead of sometimes the awards are really nice, but a neat thing that would be is how much we travel back and forth to the blood drives. It'd be neat maybe to offer the top 3 people for the Greater Rochester, the Buffalo office, give them a $5 gas card.
Okay, you were coming in a little muffled, but I think I heard you. We recognize that there's a lot of driving, and many of you go distances, and you were saying it would be nice to recognize volunteers, even something like a token of like a gift card or something like that is kind of what you said?
Yeah, gas card.
That's above my job level. I'm going to punt that one over to you, Ellen, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks for that input. I will note it. I can't guarantee anything. We're always trying to think of, what would be something that would be valuable to kind of the biggest audience. But I do appreciate there's travel involved. We do give you credit for that time, that you're traveling. So, and noted, I take that input. I will remember it. Can't make any promises, but thanks for letting us know.
Hi, this is Dave. In regards to the mileage and the amount of driving, I keep track of the miles, and when I do my income tax at the end of the year, I think they allow 14 cents a mile for volunteer. So it is something to consider.
I feel like I had heard that before. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Thanks for the tip.
Wow. And there are also throughout New York, there are retired senior volunteer programs that will offset costs. I think of RSVP. We have several people, and I believe, don't quote me, but I have pretty strong certainty that there is some type of mileage accounting. It might just be that, but I do know that they have some perks. That's retired senior volunteer programs throughout New York. I have a couple people on my team up in the North Country that are through that program. But the tax write-off sounds awesome. Thank you. Oh, you learned so much here, you know? Oh my gosh. Any others that I have not gotten to, or anyone? Obviously, if you need to leave, you can. We went over on time. We'll budget our time a little better next time. But we'll hang on. Anybody on the call that would like to just come off mute?
Casey,
That feels.
I can come off for just a second, and I'll just say one more thank you to everyone for not only everything you do throughout the year, but for attending tonight. This is a great opportunity for us to get direct feedback and provide you information and just kind of build the team spirit. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And we'll hang on for a few minutes if anyone wants to chat, but have a great week. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Whatever you're doing, be safe, have fun. If you don't have a shift signed up for in September, we encourage you to do that. We're trying to close the schedules as quickly as we can before everyone logs off for the holiday. But thank you for everything that you do, and have a great night. We'll hang out for a few minutes. And I'll stop the recording. Yeah, my Teams completely froze at the beginning there. That was fun. Yeah, like couldn't even click anything on it.
Perfect timing, right, for that to happen.
Yeah. Leaving